let's start with the Gators, and then we'll go deep into the SEC and Florida State. Florida gets its new coach, Billy Napier. What was it? A couple of Sundays ago.
Yeah.
And Billy Napier preached patience. He said, I'm not going to be this guy. Have you done any research from him at Louisiana? He said that I'm not going to be a guy that just, goes and gets 4 and 5 stars. I want guys that are going to be involved in the program. A Louisiana play-by-play guy said that, he wants guys that are really good teammates. And it's really seemed that way. Florida ranked in the 70s coming into today. They only had 7 recruits. Copeland, Diabate, Bogle just left, and he's going to Michigan State. And then you see today he gets some commits, and then he gets the big one, the 5-star safety out of IMG. How do you assess so far what Billy Napier's done so far at the start of Florida?
Well, a couple of things. Florida may end up only bringing in 12, 13 guys. Probably going to be a small class, as Billy Napier said. But when you look at the big shots across the bow, the early morning turn, flip, if you will, of Devin Moore, I believe it is, the kid that was pretty hardcore to Notre Dame, big-time safety. Florida flips him in the morning. And then Kamari Wilson, the 5-star safety, number 1 safety in the nation, top 15 player in the nation, 5-star. The fact that Billy Napier and his staff, don't forget, they were able to turn this around no matter what happens the rest of the way. And again, I think they're only going to sign 12, maybe 15 guys. But it has been a clear shot across the bow. No, Florida is not going to finish in the top 10 when all the classes are in. And, they've got a lot of ground to make up. But it's a shot across the bow in the fact that, don't forget, Billy Napier, it wasn't like Billy Napier was recruiting the hell out of Wilson and Moore because Billy Napier was at a Power 5 school and he was in their schools and spending time. No, he was at Louisiana. Billy Napier at Louisiana, hands-on, face-to-face, didn't recruit that level of player. That even makes it more impressive that he and his staff were able to get in and get 2 big guys committed / signed for the future. I mean, this is a real – you talk about and I haven't looked at all the numbers and who all – Texas A&M I think is doing great. Alabama's doing great. Georgia's going to do great. But in terms of who has had a great day so far, the Florida Gators have had a great day, not only for what they did within the last 5 or 6 hours, but a stock market term, futures, and an investment term for futures. I mean, these guys have been wearing a Gator logo, these coaches, 14 days or so. Now, early signing period, the 5th year we've had an early signing period. It started in 2017. You are up against it if you're a program that changes a coach for the good or the bad. I mean, I think I counted it up. The Florida State game, the final regular season Saturday, there were 18 days between that and today, December 15th. Very, very impressive day for the Florida Gator football program. And it continues, Dylan. You follow Florida as close as anybody. The last 2.5 weeks, it's the first time in about 2 months there's been a refreshing feel-goodness around the Florida program. You go out and beat FSU. No, Florida wasn't a great team this year at the end of the year. But you go out and beat your rival. You get a new coach name that most people in the college industry have pegged him as a winner and is going to be successful no matter where he went. You add this recruiting. Dylan, first time in 2 good months, probably coming out of the Alabama loss. Yep. The first time there's been feel good. It feels fresh and feels good around the Florida football program, and that hasn't been the case for 2 months.
Yeah, the 2020 season was mostly good until the ending, and then the Florida-Alabama game was probably like the only good thing that came out of this season. If you look at every other game, it was, it could be this, it can be this, and then it never happened. Tay, let's go back to last Tuesday or Wednesday? Florida has those decommits, and then Florida gets Corey Raymond, the LSU longtime assistant, who by the way was recruiting that IMG 5-star that eventually came out about an hour ago. When those kids, when Diabate, when Copeland and a couple others started hitting the transfer portal, there was a lot of panic from Florida fans. And I don't know if it's because I'm more aware of what's going on in college football, or if it's just because of the new day and age we're in. But I was just like, okay. I mean, I would have liked for Florida to have kept Diabate and kept Bogle, but I mean, like LSU has 7 guys in the transfer portal, and some of those guys, your starting quarterback. Another one is Eli Ricks, a 5-star DB. It seems like, I mean, there was no panic for me, and I was just like, I mean, there's going to go to the transfer portal, and that's what everybody else is doing. I mean, is that fair?
I think it's very fair. Everybody will do that. It's part of the college football landscape now. Remember, you and I have talked since the portal's been around a couple of years. The college football fans got to get used to the portal. There are going to be years the portal is your best friend. You're going to plug in a left tackle that you needed. You're going to plug in a cornerback that you needed. You may find a star running back or a receiver. There's going to be years that the portal is your mortal enemy. It's going to be like finding $20 in your pocket sometime. You go, well, that's great. Well, it's not going to be there every time. The portal also, it's interesting. We're in this period now where there's the extra COVID year and the transfer without a sit-out period. So it's a unique time. It's hard in the past before the portal. It was hard to clean out your roster. You can't cut guys. Yes, you can, but the damage it does down the road. If you go, hey, man, you're a senior to be linebacker. You're an average player. You're going to get some playing time here, but gosh, we wouldn't mind freeing up a spot and cleaning out some roster spots. Well, it's hard to cut a guy because of the relationship you may be killing. That guy came from some high school somewhere, a Diabate or a Bogle or a Copeland out in Pensacola. The portal can help you clean your roster out and start fresh. You better learn how to use it. And we'll never know the inside discussions, but a lot of times the guys that jump in the portal were kind of nudged, not cut, but nudged by the coaching staff, the new staff that came in and had their not exit interviews, but introductory interviews. Hey, looks like you're doing this. I know you've got one more year. You know, we're going to open it all up. Nudge, nudge. So that's go ahead.
And one more thing I'll add to this, and then I'll go to Florida State. A lot of it, too, is, I mean, these guys were expected to win when they came to Florida, and they won their first couple of years, Diabate and Copeland, and then they don't want to be a part of a rebuild. So if they're like, you know, that's also another factor that some of these guys do. And then also, who knows what name, image, and likeness that they might get paid elsewhere.
Hey, let me cut you off real quick if you don't mind, though. Staying with Florida, and I'm not burying Diabate and Bogle and I guess Jeremiah Moon's gone because of eligibility, but I kind of lump those all together. They had a lot of snaps on the field over 2 and 3 years. Average players, and I'm not burying these guys, average players, I never saw their body change. They all looked 185 pounds with spaghetti arms. They didn't look like enforcer-type, SEC-type outside linebacker rush-ins. And a little factor here may be not just Diabate and Bogle, like defensive linebackers, but it also may be Derek Wingo, Tyron Hopper, and guys like that. You know, some of those athletes that I think should have gotten an earlier look. They look bigger and stronger and faster. Yeah. You know, those guys know those other guys are on the roster as well.